109 to 105. Keyshawn, how did Embiid look to you?
They look good, to be honest with you, but I could tell he's working his way back into shape. He's rounding himself into that. But the great thing about it, though, is he wasn't afraid to get down low. He wasn't afraid to bang. He wasn't afraid to mix it up. I mean, he looked fine, but you could tell on the defensive side of the thing, he was still kind of rusty, not sure about some stuff.
Yep.
Offensively, he looked like a guy that missed 2 months. He still had 20. Look, he was 12 for 12 from free throw, right? He hit every last free throw, as you say, free throw. He got all those points. He was 6 of 14 from the field.
Yep.
He had 7 assists, 6 boards. He looked good. I mean, he looked like, but you could tell there's something that's there. The engine is trying to get cranked up. It's not at full tilt. It's like one of those old Mustangs probably used to have back in the Oklahoma days.
In fact, my first car was a Mustang.
You got to turn it on. It's one of those deals with him. But then
mine
eventually,
worked pretty well.
And then eventually, his engine is going to get going. Now, the big question is, where does that leave the Philadelphia 76ers in the grand scheme of things? They sit in the 8th spot as of right now, which is the play-in. They're a game and a half, I think, out of the 6th spot.
Mm-hmm.
Can they catch the Pacers? Can they catch them? That's the question. Is he going to be able to finish the deal at the end of the season to the point where they catch and get into that 6th spot? Now, the longer that they play, and if they can avoid Boston early, somehow avoid them based on how it all shakes out, then it may be Boston and Philadelphia in the end because of the way Milwaukee is showing up and playing right now. Although the Milwaukee situation without Dame last night made you scratch your head against the Wizards, and we'll obviously talk about that later on. But
we will.
I walked away yesterday when we started talking about Embiid and what the Sixers could be, thinking, okay, I don't know that they can, but then watching them play last night, even without Tyrese Maxey in the lineup,
correct.
And Maxey plays a lot better when Embiid is in the lineup, that, we may be talking about a Celtic Sixer Eastern Conference final, depending on how the Sixers finish up.
Okay. But if it's the first round, I'm on the edge of my seat.
But you want to, the longer that they extend their playoff run, the more dangerous they can become because of him as he rounds into shape.
Although in the past, the farther they go, the worse it gets.
Well, I mean, that's the past, though. Yeah. It ain't the same coaches. It ain't the same players. It's a couple of the same players. But it's a different team, different year. I just think the longer they go with him to round into shape, the better chances they'll have.
Okay. Allow me to say up front, I was extremely skeptical about what I thought I would see from Joel Embiid as he came back. It was 8 weeks to the day after he had a scope surgery on a torn meniscus on his knee. Not a major surgery, but a surgery nonetheless. And the point about Joel is he's never been dedicated to taking the utmost care of himself. There's no LeBron going on. And he looked maybe a touch heavy last night, but not like I thought he might look.
His trunk and leg looked kind of heavy.
Looked a little heavy. And his face looked a little heavier. But whatever. The point was, Keyshawn, this man, this is the most gifted 7-foot-plus player we've ever seen. On just pure offensive gifts. I've never seen anything like this before, and they were on full display last night. And yeah, he huffed and he puffed and he got gassed a couple of times. But
those basketball courts are really large.
They're long and hard. It's called the hardwood, and you're running up and down on the hardwood when you're not a big cardio guy to start with. It's not like he was in the swimming pool or on the exercise bike going into last night. He tried to play his way in shape through some practices, and there was it was shocking because it was only 2 hours before the game that they suddenly announced he was good to go.
Still gave him 30 minutes. Though.
Yeah, but the NBA is not going to love this because they'll have to look into this because you got all the gambling situation with you got to declare. You got to declare early, what in or out, and he was supposed to be out until 2 hours before the game, and all of a sudden they said, well, he's now questionable. Oh, you went from completely out to questionable, and it was clear he was just ready to go. I think they wanted him to show up to the arena and say, I'm good.
Well, he didn't show up.
Yeah.
He didn't go to shoot around.
Yeah, but I mean before the game, 2 hours before the game. And when he did, he said, I'm ready to go. And was he ever? I am blown away by how well he played last night under the circumstances. Because, Keyshawn, if you told me he played 15 minutes, I'd say, that's pretty good. He played almost twice that. Yeah, it's close to 30 minutes. And not only that, now, again, let's be real about this. Let's put it in perspective. Oklahoma City is playing without their two best scorers. There's no SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and there's no Jalen Williams. So you're down your 1-2 punch on offense. And still...
Oh, Jalen actually played.
No, that's the other one. You got the wrong one. There are two of them, and the other one started in place of the better one.
Williams?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got two. But the better one did not play, the one from Santa Clara out here. Okay. So the point is that they had a shot to win, but then to your point, they didn't even have Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
So I'm still a little skeptical because his chemistry with Joel can be good, but it's going to be different. And Paul Pierce kept making the point. It's so late in the year. They've been playing a certain way, and now they got to play Joel's way. And he is high usage, man. You got to run the whole offense through him. But it clicked last night, and it clicked in the fourth quarter last night. And by the way, I said the other day, it was yesterday, I think I said, I love Kelly Oubre. I just like to watch him play because he
played well last night.
You know what?
Well.
He's what I call a near star. He may not be, you can't qualify him as a star, but he's got some star quality.
He played well.
He's sort of like D'Angelo Russell, where you say he's got all-star skills to him, but he's not an all-star, right? And in the fourth quarter, he makes all 4 of his three-point shots. Well, you needed all those. But then to your point, in the fourth quarter, Joel only made 1 of 4 shots, but he took the game over at the free throw line. He goes 8 for 8 at the free throw line. He's the greatest 7-foot or above free throw shooter we have ever seen. It ain't even close.
Yeah, I really don't see him miss much.
He's a 90% free throw shooter. Are you kidding me? And before he got hurt this year, he was on pace to score more points than minutes played, and no one's ever done that except it's another one of those records, Wilt Chamberlain. It's another Wilt record, and he's got Wilt in him. That's how much he can dominate a game. So he steps on the floor out of shape. By his standards, a lot of people think he's always out of shape, and he's got that basketball gene in him where he just figures out how to get up and down the floor and play basketball.
He does, and I think rounding him into shape and when you get Maxey back, this is a different team. It's a different team. You just want to try to extend the season as long as possible to get him there.
You do, but now you've still got. What they got left? 8 games or whatever?
About 8 games. Okay. This schedule is, they should, if they're any good, they should come out way ahead on this last remaining games.
Okay, so I like their pieces. I actually, if you give me Oubre and obviously with Maxey back and Tobias, and they added Kyle Lowry, and now they got Cam Payne. He was in the starting lineup last night. They added Buddy Hield. They got Nicholas Batum in the trade for Harden. They still got Robert Covington to play defense. I don't know. This team is intriguing to me. And with Joel, all of a sudden the intrigue level in the Eastern Conference playoffs shoots way back up. Because I said yesterday, it felt like it's kind of Boston or bust. And I don't trust Milwaukee. And we're going to talk about them, as you say. And they keep losing on the road. And I'm not sure about Dame's ability to sort of unite with Giannis down the stretch in the big moments. But the point is, all of a sudden, this team looks like it could measure up to the Celtics. If he's going to get back in sync and in stride.
To get to the Celtics, let's just assume.
Well, what if it happened immediately? What if it happened?
Oh, then they're going to lose.
Well, I don't know.
Because he ain't going to be in shape.
Yeah.
He's not going to be in shape.
Well, at least you got 8 games to go. And he said he's going to keep. They got 1 back-to-back, and he said he might miss the second game. But
they're going to play 8 games over the next 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah, but I could make the case back to you. If his skill level is all in shape, which it is, he didn't lose any of that last night, I can make a case to you that he'll be more rested for the postseason than he's been in a long time. And that's a big plus for them.
It's still a short amount of time, Skip. He's been gone for 2 months.
And they do have a lot of new players, but I just like the feel of what I saw.
No, I do too. If they can get him in shape and get him going, and they can somehow avoid Boston early, then I think that they
Well, to your point, if they just
shot.
keep on keeping on, if they could win out, they might just catch the Pacers and get out of the, get out of harm's way early on. They could maybe do it differently. They could take